was the time period between 400 AD and 1400 AD, a dark age for Europe. Causes of the Dark Ages. The Germanic tribes began to invade the falling Roman Empire. They split into many states, and there was no sense of unity. Separate kings started to arise, and feudalism began, which is a system of kings giving lands to nobles for loyalty. The bubonic plague was a disease that swept through Europe, killing about 2/3 of the population. The Great Schism was the break between the church when the church split into two. The 100 Years' War was a war between England and France that caused a lot of destruction and lasted for 100 years. Life during the Dark Ages. Clovis was the first king to unite all the Franks under one rule. He introduced Christianity, which is when the power struggle between the church and the government began. This caused secular ruling of the Pope, where the Pope had worldly power and became very powerful. Feudalism caused isolation, no influence from the other empires. This system led to no social mobility, which is the ability to move up or down in social status. When Charlemagne took power, he limited the control of nobles, spread Christianity, extended the empire, encouraged learning, and had monasteries set up schools. Charles Martel was the mayor of the palace, and he led to the victory of the Battle of Tours. The Battle of Tours is significant because if they had lost, they would have been part of the Muslim Empire. There was the creation of lay investiture, which was the ability for nobles or kings to appoint religious officials. This led to the Concordat of Worms, and an agreement was reached that the church appoints religious officials, but the emperor could veto their decision. The Holy Roman Empire was created by Otto, and they created the Crusades, which were battles to capture the Holy Land. The Holy Land was Israel, where Jesus was born, and 7 crusades were launched to recapture it, and it was ultimately unsuccessful. Although it was successful in bringing back Muslim achievements, they brought back Muslim science, math, books, and new advancements. They acquired a large wealth of knowledge. Life during the Dark Ages continued. The three-field system was created. This split land into 3 sections, and they would rotate them out so they would be able to use 2/3 of the land when farming. The commercial revolution occurred, which is the expansion of trade and business. Banks were created in order for merchants to get large sums of money and allow them to change currencies easily when trading. During this time, towns started to grow. More people began to move to towns and were able to live on their own instead of in the system of feudalism. Burghers was the merchant class, much like a union, and they acquired certain rights. With all the knowledge acquired from Muslims, the people started universities, which were pristine learning institutions. People began to write in their vernacular or their native language, so more people could enjoy books. The Battle of Hastings was a battle between the Normans and the Anglo-Saxons. The Normans won. William, who was the king at the time, gave all the English land to the Norman nobles. They started to create centralized government, which was central authority. They established common law, which is a unified body of law from rulings of England's royal judges. They began to use juries, which were 12 loyal people who answered judges' questions in cases. They established Parliament, which was a body of representatives, and they broke it into 2, the House of Lords and the House of Commons. Estates Generals in France were created. There were 3 states, the Church, the Lords, and the Commons, to decide on matters. Both these systems led to democracy, which is a government controlled by citizens. During the 100 Years' War, there was the creation of the longbow, which changed warfare forever. The events that led out of the Dark Ages. Charlemagne encouraged learning and began to establish schools. The Battle of Tours allowed them to remain Catholic or Christian. The Crusades allowed them to acquire immense knowledge from the Muslims, which led to the foundation of universities and a time of immense learning. The three-field system was created, which allowed for more food to be produced, which lowered prices and supported a larger population. The Commercial Revolution happened, which allowed feudalism to end since serfs were running away to cities for a better life. Writing in their vernacular allowed more people to have access to books and knowledge. Establishing the common law allowed for fair ruling, same as juries, which allowed to fair ruling and weakened the power of the judges. Parliament weakened powers of nobles, gave commoners a chance to voice their opinion. The longbow changed warfare and gave England a chance in fighting France. My thesis statement is, although the Middle Ages were a time of warfare, disease, and feudalism, it was also a time of immense knowledge, new advancements, and flourishing government.